Hello, accounting superstars. Welcome to the Accounting Superstar channel. Glad you're here. If you want to learn how to do accounting, I can show you. I've been a professor for about 30 years and a CPA for about that long. I've got a lot of great ways to explain it. So today we are focusing on sales returns and allowances, cash sales. Last time we focused on sales returns and allowances, credit sales. Fortunately, the two are very, very, very similar. There's only one slight difference, and you'll catch on to it. I'm sure it's not that hard. So Fred has a snowblower service up in Breckenridge, Colorado, about 2 hours away from where I live. I live in Morrison, Colorado, and last night I took a picture off of my deck of the city lights of Denver, and I'm not that good of a photographer. The view is actually a lot prettier than what the picture shows, but I thought I'd show it to you just so you can get an idea of what the view looks like. So let's get started. The number of snowblowers that Fred sells each and every year is 200 snowblowers, and the retail price of these snowblowers is $1,500. Fred buys these snowblowers for $800. 3 people returned their snowblowers and they got their money back. And Fred has a sneaking suspicion that 2 more snowblowers will be returned. He doesn't know who's going to return them or when they'll be returned, but he just knows deep inside, based on past experience, that probably 2 more snowblowers will not be returned. Fred sells these returned snowblowers on eBay and Craigslist, so he does okay with them. He doesn't lose any money. So coming down to the journal entries. Cash. Fred collected cash when he sold these snowblowers, and we're just doing summarized entries. Of course, Fred would do each and every entry as each snowblower was sold, but we just want to see the big picture here. So in grand total, 200 snowblowers at $1,500 each. If you do the math, you ought to get $300,000. So his sales revenue, $300,000. Cost of goods sold, those 200 snowblowers at $800 each. Here we go, $160,000. And he's reducing his inventory by $160,000. Cost of goods sold is an expense, folks. Sales returns and allowances. Now these are the 3 snowblowers that were returned, and Fred gave the people their money back. So Fred is debiting sales returns and allowances, which is a contra sales account. Contra means goes against, so it's going to go against the sales. Cash. Fred gave back $4,500 in cash, and Fred is separating out the inventory that was returned. He's calling it returned inventory, and I put it in bright red print so it would stand out. So 3 snowblowers at $800 each, that's $2,400, and he's reducing his cost of goods sold by $2,400. Up here, when Fred originally sold the snowblowers, he debited cost of goods sold for $160,000, and when the snowblowers are returned, he's crediting cost of goods sold. So he's reducing the cost of goods sold. Now, at the end of the year, after the year is all over and Fred is about ready to do his financial statements, Fred is doing end of year adjusting entries. So this would be done just once at the end of the fiscal year. Sales returns and allowances. Now this has to do with the 2 additional snowblowers that Fred believes are going to be returned. He doesn't know when, he doesn't know who, but he has a feeling they will be returned. And he doesn't want to overstate his sales and how he did during the year, so he's going to take this into account. So 2 snowblowers at $1,500 each, $3,000, and that's sales returns and allowances is a contra sales account. Estimated return payable. So here it'll also be $3,000. Now this is an estimated return payable, meaning that Fred expects to pay out cash. Number 6 here, estimated returns inventory. So his 2 snowblowers, and he paid $800 for those. $1,600, and he's reducing his cost of goods sold Coming down to the income statement, sales is $300,000. We've got it right here in one of our journal entries, our first journal entry. And sales will be $300,000, less returns and allowances. So Fred has $4,500 of sales, returns, and allowances for the 3 snowblowers that were returned, and another $3,000 for the other 2 that he expects to be returned. So $4,500 and $3,000 is a grand total of $7,500, and it's listed as a negative number because sales, returns, and allowances is a contra sales account. In addition, sales, returns, and allowances, at least I think of it as my customer unhappiness account. I want to keep that sales, returns, allowances as small as possible, even 0 if possible. Here we go, down to net sales. All that net sales is simply the difference between those 2. So net sales, $292,500. Cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold originally was $160,000, and then we reduced it by $2,400, and then we reduced it again by the 2 snowblowers estimated to be returned. So our cost of goods sold is $156,000. Cost of goods sold is an expense. So let's find the gross profit. The gross profit will simply be net sales minus cost of goods sold. Coming over here to the balance sheet. Now this is really where the only difference is from the last example. This is the only difference between the credit sales and the cash sales. And of course we're doing cash sales today. The returned inventory, we've got $2,400 over here. We've got 16 estimated to be returned, so that's a grand total of $4,000. And lastly, the estimated return payable. Now folks, when people return these snowblowers, Fred is going to give them their cash back. And so we're listing this as a liability because Fred believes that he's going to have 2 more snowblowers returned and he's going to have to pay out cash. So if he does pay out that cash, here we go. The estimated returns payable is right here, this $3,000. So we'll drop it right here in this spot. And of course our little tiny balance sheet here doesn't balance because this is just a small fraction of the balance sheet. We're not showing all the other accounts. So ladies and gentlemen, there is how you do it. That is sales, returns, allowances for cash sales. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, if you found this helpful, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. That way you'll get to see more of these videos. I'll know that you like them, and other people are going to see them too. So have a great day. Over and out.